In a quaint village, there lived a friendly baker named Mr. Johnson. His bakery, Johnson's Oven, was a delightful place that filled the air with the scent of freshly baked bread, muffins and pies. Every morning, as the sun began to rise, Mr. Johnson donned his crisp white apron and started preparing delicious treats for the townspeople. His day began by mixing the finest flour, adding just the right amount of yeast and kneading the dough until it was soft and pliable. One sunny morning, a young girl named Emily and her mother entered the bakery. Emily's eyes widened as she took in the mouth-watering display of pastries and bread. She tugged at her mother's sleeve and pointed at a tray of golden croissants. "Mum, can we get some croissants, please?" Emily asked with a hopeful smile. Mrs. Roberts agreed, and they selected a few croissants. Mr. Johnson carefully placed them in a paper bag and handed it to Emily, who held it as if it were a treasure. As they left the bakery, Emily couldn't stop talking about the delicious croissants. "Mum, these are the best croissants I've ever had. Mr. Johnson is a wonderful baker." Mrs. Roberts smiled and replied, "Yes, dear, he is. Bakers like Mr. Johnson make our village special." Inspired by her visit to the bakery, Emily decided that she wanted to learn how to bake. Her mother enrolled her in a local baking class, and Emily was thrilled. Over the weeks, Emily attended the baking classes with enthusiasm. She learned how to measure ingredients, knead dough, and bake different types of bread and pastries. Her favourite part was when the aroma of freshly baked goods filled the kitchen, just like in Mr. Johnson's bakery. One day, after baking a batch of golden brown rolls, Emily had an idea. She wanted to thank Mr. Johnson for inspiring her love of baking. She carefully packed some of the rolls in a basket and headed to Johnson's Oven. When she arrived, Mr. Johnson was arranging fresh loaves of bread on the shelves. Emily approached him with the basket of rolls and said, "Mr. Johnson, I baked these rolls for you to say thank you for being such a great baker." Mr. Johnson's eyes twinkled with gratitude as he accepted the basket. "Thank you, Emily. These look wonderful, and it warms my heart to see young bakers like you inspired by the joy of baking." He offered Emily a warm, freshly baked cinnamon roll as a token of appreciation. They chatted about baking, and Mr. Johnson encouraged Emily to keep learning and experimenting in the kitchen. As the years passed, Emily's passion for baking grew, and she eventually opened her own bakery, Emily's Delights, in the same village. Just like Mr. Johnson, she became known for her delicious treats, and the village now had two beloved bakeries. Mr. Johnson and Emily remained friends, often sharing recipes and baked goods with each other. Together, they had created a legacy of sweetness and friendship that would be cherished for generations to come.